Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another girl chat video. I'm super excited to be doing this, and I thought why not do it on Valentine's Day, so no matter if you're single or in a relationship, you will have something to look forward to and do today. So sit back, grab a drink, grab some food. We are going to go through a bunch of scenarios that a lot of you sent in that you want advice on. I think you guys are gonna like these because a lot of them are really juicy, and I think a lot of us will be able to relate to these because I feel like a lot of people go through things like this. So I'm gonna stop talking for now and we'll get into the questions. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Amanda. Don't forget to subscribe. I take you guys through pretty much my whole life on here, so I would love for you to stick around. We're gonna get into scenario number one. I wanted to hear your advice on some tips you would give women about making the first move with a man, more specifically on how to introduce the idea of wanting to know the person more with the intent of figuring out if there is compatibility to start a relationship. I've been talking to this guy through DM and I can tell he's interested in me and I am of him, but I can't tell if he's someone who likes to take things slow or if he is shying away from being upfront. I've never shot my shot before with a guy because of the fear of rejection and the possible awkwardness that can come after a possible no from the guy. What would you advise / what are some words of encouragement you'd have for women who are experiencing something similar? Sorry. Okay. I think us as women, we kind of expect the guy to be the one who makes the first move when it comes to getting to know someone, especially if you're talking to someone through DMs, which I think is a lot. It's really common for girls and guys to get to know each other through social media nowadays, obviously. So when you're talking to someone through DMs, you kind of expect the guy to be the one to initiate getting off the platform and either getting your number or just showing some interest in wanting to be more than friends. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a girl being the one to make that move. Of course, I'm in a relationship now, so maybe it's easier for me to be yeah, you should totally tell him whatever to make the first move. But I remember when I wasn't in a relationship, I had the same mindset. If you are talking to a guy or something and you want to be the one to make the first move, I think that's perfectly fine depending on your personality, of course. If you feel comfortable doing it, you should do it. Maybe next time you message him, reply a little bit later or something and be sorry, I don't really keep up with messaging through social media. Here's my number, you can text me, and just leave that up to him to he has your number, so now he has the ball in his court. It's his turn to make the move and text you or not. And if he's interested in you, then he'll text you and, keep the conversation going there. Now you have each other's numbers. It comes down to your personality. If you're the type that you feel comfortable, kind of being the person that makes the move over DMs, I say go for it. Why not? What do you have to lose? The person to say no, then they're not the one. You X them out. It might be kind of awkward, but at least I feel we are in 2021. You just gotta take the chances, ladies. You gotta do your thing, and if they aren't interested, then it's their loss. In my opinion, that's what I would do. Okay, next scenario. This girl is in a relationship. She said, I love my boyfriend, but sometimes I feel extremely underappreciated in our relationship. How do I politely tell my boyfriend to make more of an effort in our relationship? He told me he would never be a simp for any girl. Okay, I don't know what simp means, you guys. I need to up my game on Gen Z terminology. He told me he would never be a simp for any girl, which doesn't bother me, but he also asked me at the beginning of our relationship to be honest in my feelings because I tend to bottle emotions up and not address them until I explode. Same girl, that's literally me. By the way, my boyfriend is great, tells me he loves me all the time and spends plenty of time with me, but he never goes out of his way to be a gentleman. Okay, it sounds I know I've talked about love languages before, but it sounds like he's not meeting her love language, because if he tells her he loves her all the time and spends plenty of time with her, so that's words of affirmation and quality time, but in her opinion, he never goes out of his way to be a gentleman. So I think it really is that he just doesn't know what your love language is, and That's easier said than done, because if you like to receive gifts, how do you tell your boyfriend, like, listen, you don't buy me enough things? You just have to figure out how to express your feelings. And I think a really like easy way to do that is take a love language quiz together, which that sounds really cheesy, but even like you could do it maybe when you're not together or something. Like send him a link and be like, I just took this is what I got, what's your love language? And then he'll find out through without you having to tell him, like, oh, you like to receive gifts. So then maybe that clicks a light bulb in his head, like, oh, I need to get her something. Or I don't even know if that's what she means by he never goes out of his way to be a gentleman, but through that quiz, which sounds cheesy, but I need to do that in my relationship, I think he'll find out a lot about you without you having to tell him. I'm talking to this guy right now. He's super sweet. Even though we've been friends for years, we're still in the very beginning stages of actually dating each other. I really want to continue to get to know him, but he wants to be exclusive like immediately, and I'm just not ready for that. How can I slow him down without hurting his feelings, given that he's been waiting years for us to even start talking romantically? I don't want to discourage him. Any advice? Okay, that's hard, because if this guy's been like liking you for so long and now he finally like gets what he wants with you, and then you just want to take things slower than he does. So she's trying to figure out what to say without discouraging him, because obviously she really likes him too. Okay, if it were me, I would say something like, we've been friends for so long and I really, really like you, and that's what makes what we have so special. I just want to make sure we're doing this right, and I like where we are right now. So that leaves out the words, I just want to take this slow, because maybe that's what would throw him off or discourage him. Whatever words you think will discourage him, try to leave that out and just figure out how to word it so that it encourages him to be where you are right now. Say that you like it and you like where you are right now, if that makes any sense. Last year, I was engaged to a guy for about 6 months, and we were together 3 months before engagement. So 9 months of being together total. At first, it started off great. I fell for him quickly and I was so happy to get engaged. After engagement, he kind of turned into a different person and was trying to pressure me to do haram sexual things with him. In parentheses, she said, not sex, but basically everything else. I always told him no and would push him away, but he was so adamant and pushy. I was so surprised because he seemed so religious and prayed and came from a really religious family. I never budged though, because I take Islam seriously and I couldn't compromise my morals, so I ended up breaking up with him, and it was so depressing. But after he was pushy, I couldn't let myself be with him. When I ended things, he went into deep depression and would call me crying and tell me how sorry he is and how he will never do anything like that again, and that he didn't know how to control himself, and that he learned his lesson and has changed. He called me for months and I still refused because I felt like he would keep me away from my Islamic goals, but now a year later I find myself thinking about him again and all the promises he made to change. She said, am I crazy for thinking about him again after he hurt me? I don't know if I'm just remembering the past better than it actually was, but I know during my relationship I was so depressed and felt so hopeless when he was so pushy. I think a lot of girls do this, where when you first meet a guy, this person you've imagined you want to spend your life with, like this perfect person in your head. When you meet a guy, a lot of girls are, myself included, like guilty of kind of like making this person out to be like so much better and everything that they want, you know, better than it maybe actually is. So maybe when you get a little bit further down the line, like she said, once she got engaged, maybe his true self started coming out and she was like, this is not the guy I thought I knew. She said he was really pushy, trying to do like sexual things with her, and she was really depressed throughout the relationship. So number one, I would say you did a really good thing to call it off. And it's normal for you to be, now that a lot of time has gone by, you maybe miss him a little bit, which is normal. Like throughout any breakup, you're gonna miss the person that you spent almost an entire year with. You thought you were gonna spend the rest of your life with. You start envisioning your life going a certain way, so it's normal for you to miss this person. If you were to, you know, go back to him, he might say like, oh, I changed, oh, all this stuff, but you knew him for 9 months. You were engaged to him for 6 months and you were miserable. So if you go back, nothing's going to change. And there's somebody out there for you that will not pressure you into doing things that you don't want to do, and you know, will be that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. So do your best you can to move on, because the more time that goes by, it's going to get easier. God willing, you're going to meet someone that will make you forget about this person. So I was talking to this guy for marriage, and I really liked him. He would call and text every day, so I assumed he liked me too. He told his family about me, and we planned to meet. He's in school, so when school got busy for him, he decided he needed to stop talking to me for a while. I was super mature and understood, because he said he'd reach out in January after his school calmed down. However, it's February now and I've heard nothing from him. So I know I'm behind ghosted, but I don't know how to deal with the fact and have closure. I also do want to meet someone for marriage, and I haven't been able to even get myself to meet anyone since. I feel like she was being the bigger person, trying to say, you know what, you go do your thing with school. Like, totally understand that school comes before certain things in your life. Like, that's most important, because in my head, I feel like that's the type of person I would be. I would be very understanding and trying to show him that you're interested by like being a supportive person. And then he just like ghosts you and doesn't get back to you when he said he would. So the best closure to the situation, because I don't think you'll ever get the closure you want by even reaching out to him again to be like, hey, what happened? You're never, that's just not, I don't think that's the right thing to do. The best closure is to move on and try to find your person, because that will one, like help you get over him, and two, it'll show him that he's like out of the question. Okay, this girl said, I'd love to hear your input on the following scenario. I was with a guy for 5 years, and we recently broke up due to a conflict in terms of our religious differences. He is Muslim and I am Catholic. However, he could not compromise anymore on marrying someone who isn't Muslim. We didn't fall out of love. In fact, we both still have strong feelings for each other, but we both want different things. Is it still worth trying to make it work out? That's really hard. I would say if you're in a relationship with someone who has a different religion than you, which I got a few other scenarios from girls that share a different religion than their significant other, and they're like coming to terms with trying to either make it work or, you know, part ways. And this is probably one of the hardest things, because she's saying that they have like a really strong relationship, but religion is like the one thing that they don't agree on. But when you don't agree on religion, so many other things are going to fall apart as well, depending on, you know, how religious you are, how you see your future. And if he's Muslim and you're Catholic, you know, think about, how do you want to raise your children? Are you okay with your children being raised Muslim? Because that's probably what your husband's going to want. And it seems like those are things that they probably disagreed on. And in my opinion, those things are not going to change. You know, those are your values and what you want to build a family on, and how you want to raise your children, and all of those things. And those things are more important than the love that you have for each other, honestly. And it sucks putting it like that, but your religion is like the number one thing, and everything else kind of stems off of that. So if you don't share that, or at least share, you know, how your relationship will fold out in the future, you're probably not going to have a very successful marriage. If you just feel like you can't come to a compromise, then it's not worth trying to work out. Okay, next scenario. She said, I have a situation with my husband I need advice on. We've been happily married for over 4 years, but he hasn't told his parents about the marriage. She said, he's Pakistani. He wants to finish his degree before he tells them. Okay. I will also graduate this June. We have an amazing relationship, never fight at all. We fit together perfectly. I just feel like I will never be good enough. Maybe he is embarrassed I'm white and he's worried his parents won't accept us or see us in a real marriage. I know about the mindset and how tribal / backwards people can think about race, but I'm missing a whole other family. I'm 27, husband 34. Also, when I graduate and start working, we plan to buy a home and start our family, but I can't do that if I'm still a secret. Then parentheses, she put, I trust him. I know he doesn't have anything else going on. So he's not like has the secret life he's hiding. He just this is what it is. My opinion is that he needs to put his big boy pants on and tell his parents that he's married. He's 34 years old. You've been together for over 4 years. He obviously loves you. He wants to you want to like build family together, but you know, he should have thought about this before he got married. You know, once you're in a marriage with someone, your life is their life. You share everything together. You are building and growing a family, and he's past the point of hiding things from his parents. You know, you're 34 years old. You probably need to grow up a little bit, face your parents. If they don't like it, you know what, it's your life. You're already living this life, so you know, it seems like he is scared to not have their approval. But you know, this is his life, and he owes it to you, his wife, to just kind of like let his parents know. This girl said, my ex's sister still follows me on socials, and I just find it weird and dramatic if I unfollow her now. It's been 2 years since my ex and I broke up, but also she still views all my stuff, and to be honest, I feel like it's bad vibes. She put bad vibes in literally all caps. Should I just delete her, or would it look dramatic? My ex and I deleted each other when we broke up, but his sis and I are still, I guess, friends on socials. One easy way to go about this, if you feel like she might be like, what the heck, why did this girl just now like block me and unblock me so that I don't follow her anymore, you can hide your story from her so that she doesn't see anything you're putting on your story, so that it doesn't like pop up and you'll never see her view your story at all. So if that makes you feel more comfortable, she'll literally never know that you hid your story from her, unless someone were to say, hey, did you see what so-and-so posted on her story? And she'll be like, no, I can't see her stories, but whatever. 2, I don't think it's weird if you just like block her and unblock her and she's not following you anymore, because then she's not following you. And I don't know, does she still like your stuff? Like, does she still keep up with you? But even if someone doesn't like your stuff, it doesn't mean they're not watching you. Honestly, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Like, who cares what this girl thinks? Obviously it didn't work out with her brother, so you know, do what makes you happy. This girl said, I've had an ex who didn't view praying as something important, and that bothered me so much. I don't pray regularly right now, but I used to, and I always think I'll improve on it, inshallah, and I want to make sure my partner also feels the same way. Am I being hypocritical for wanting something that I don't practice or do regularly? We all go through periods where praying is not easy, and you know, it's not an easy thing. Like, praying 5 times a day is hard work. I feel like sometimes all I do is pray. I'm going about my day and I have to stop everything to go pray. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, all I did today was pray. And you know, it's so hard, but you want a partner who encourages you to do those things. So you're not being a hypocrite for, you know, struggling with that, but wanting your significant other to push you towards that. And it really does help and make a difference when your partner, you know, reminds you to pray, or you see him praying and then you'll go pray. Like, those things, that seems like that's what she wants, and that's something that you deserve, so you're not being a hypocrite. Okay, this one is a little long, but I'm gonna read it to you guys because I feel like you need all this information. She said, I've been with my boyfriend for around 4 years. He's Arab, born in America, but spent his childhood up until college in the Middle East. I'm white/Italian, not so much religious or anything. Him and his family are Muslim. His parents live in the Middle East, but he has a lot of family in the tri-state area. I've also met his entire extended family multiple times, so they seem really close. They know who I am. We all get along really well. I think there may have been more concern in the beginning about me being white, but his family is pretty westernized, and once they realized I'm a good girl, it didn't bother them. I'm also really open to things that are non-negotiable for him, such as raising children, Muslim, and naming them Arab names. Other than this, we have a very unassuming and normal relationship. Something has been bothering me for quite some time though. His cousin is due to get married at the end of the year, and from my understanding, meeting his grandparents is off limits if we aren't married or at least engaged. I'm unable to go to his cousin's wedding in October because we're not engaged, and therefore I haven't met his grandparents. He thinks it's awkward and isn't ready to introduce, even though our relationship has been steady progressing ever since we met. Okay, I really feel for this girl because it seems like she's compromised on a lot. They've been together for over 4 years, she said. The non-negotiables for him, like raising their children Muslim and like these non-negotiable things she is very compromising on. Like that doesn't make any sense, very compromising. She's willing to compromise on, and she's met all his family. She's really put herself out there. So I feel like I can feel what she feels, because she is just looking for like she needs something to just feel like validated, which is totally normal, and every girl wants that, and she deserves that. Like 100% she deserves that. When it comes to not being invited to a cousin's wedding, I understand where he's coming from, even though I would be upset too. Like if you've been with this guy for 4 years and you feel like you're missing out on part of his life because you can't go to all of these family functions, and it feels like he's very family oriented, so that's probably a large part of your relationship you feel like you're just not a part of. I totally understand her feelings, but I understand his as well. Like I understand you can't just bring a girl that you're dating to a family event, because weddings that are like Arab weddings, Pakistani weddings, like the weddings that I've been to anyways, I can only speak for those, they're very like family. It's just like a huge family gathering. It's like a family reunion. If someone were to bring someone that not everybody knows, everybody's like, oh, who's that person? And you're kind of like the talk of the party, and that's just how things are, unfortunately. If it were me, I would give him a timeline and be like, listen, I love you. We've been together for so long, and I want a future with you. I know that we're not rushing to get married, but you know, I've been so compromising and willing to do all of these things, and I don't want to spend my life with anybody else, but I deserve like a little bit of validation back. So just try to pick like that timeline that you both agree on, that like, listen, I want to be married, and if you want to be married too, let's pick a date or pick a time where we decide we want to take the next step. Those are all of these scenarios I'm going to cover in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed these. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I always really feel for the people, because people are going through some wild things, you guys. There's always somebody to talk to, or you know, to just like confide in. So leave your thoughts down below. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss another video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.